One thing that's interesting to see during the course of the stories within the Universal Century is to see mobile suit development differences between Zeon and the Federation. Specifically, the emphasis is different for each side of the conflict. Generally speaking, Zeon mobile suits were more aligned with the thought of size, raw firepower, and the usage of tricky new-type weapons like bits, whereas Federation mobile suits and AUG suits during the Gryps War both seemed to focus on speed and maneuverability. And Federation and AUG forces would do the same afterwards. However, one mobile suit that emphasized this design philosophy more than anything was the Zeta Gundam. Today we're going to talk about what made that suit special, and also go over some of its most notable kids that I haven't discussed yet. Now, I've talked before about the importance of the Gundam Mark II, but I feel that the Zeta needs to get some time in the sun, considering how many times the Federation was trying to replicate the magic that came with this mobile suit. Heck, not even just the Federation, but just about anybody. The concept was something that Anaheim Electronics had been fussing around with when it came to the Delta Gundam, but that mobile suit never made it to the light of day, and instead just became the Hyakushiki. The Zeta, however, benefited from the movable frame technology developed by Franklin Bedon, and the insights into mobile suit development that his son, Camille Bedon, had. Now, during my mainline series going over the Gryps War, I broke down exactly what it is that makes the Zeta what it is. It is a transforming mobile suit that can switch from a jet mode, called the Wave Rider, and its mobile suit mode. What ended up getting unleashed upon the enemies of the AUG was a suit with unparalleled firepower and maneuverability that lasted for another conflict after the Gryps War in the First Neo-Zeon War. This is a mobile suit that was specifically built with new types in mind. The Federation had been trying to make their own new type-oriented mobile suits for a bit, with the most major one being the Gundam Alex up to that point. However, the Alex was a suit that was meant to just take advantage of the insane reflexes of Amuro Ray. More on that later. New types are special people, and they give off special brainwaves. They're empaths and psychics, and if you can weaponize such a thing, then gosh darn it, the military's going to do it. Rather than try to create cyber new types like the Titans were doing, the AUG engineered the Zeta Gundam to instead use the natural abilities of a new type pilot through the use of its biosensor. The interesting thing about this particular technology is it's the predecessor to Psycho Frame technology. So yeah, without the Zeta Gundam, you would never have the Unicorn, you would never have the new Gundam, etc. This technology pioneered having a mobile suit that fed off the psychic energies of the user. Generally speaking, what this is going to allow you to do is help pilot the mobile suit largely with your mind, which is going to increase your response speed to a degree that many people just aren't going to be able to keep up with. If you think back to the original Mobile Suit Gundam, at the end of the 1 Year War, the Gundam was at a point where it simply could not keep up with Amuro's movements. That's why they had to put the magnetic coating in it. The Gundam Alex's solution was to simply overtune the mobile suit, for better or worse, or lack of a better term. So at that point, you feel like you're trying to be the jockey of Gold Ship if your name was not Amuro Ray. There, I referenced the horse anime. Are you happy? The biosensor, on the other hand, simply made sure that all the inputs were read at a much faster degree, but there's more to it than that. This was the first mobile suit that fed off the psychic energy of the pilot. As such, Camille was able to pull off some very interesting maneuvers. One thing he could do was create what is called a psycho field, a force field full of psychic energy that is very, very, very hard to penetrate. It could effectively completely defend him from just about any sort of shot fired his way. He could also enhance the powers of his beam saber, increasing its length and energy output to incredibly destructive degrees. Effectively, the biosensor makes this mobile suit more than just an incredibly maneuverable machine, but rather a one-of-a-kind psychic flying death on the battlefield. Now you might be asking yourself, Micah, if it's that awesome, why didn't they try to mass produce it? Well, Melvin, they did. Allow me to introduce you to the Zeta Plus. This mobile suit was featured heavily in Gundam Sentinel. Basically, Karaba couldn't help but notice how effective the Zeta was in combat, so they made their own. But the Zeta Plus A1 was built strictly to operate on Earth. Later iterations of the Zeta Plus would gain functionality to be used in space. Overall, the Zeta Plus mobile suits are pretty solid, all clocking in at about 22 meters tall and having different loadouts. Some of them similar to the original Zeta, others, like the C1, have more of a sniper rifle loadout. However, none of them have a biosensor. In fact, there's not many Zeta offshoots that actually use it. Now, Anaheim Electronics tried to make a mass production Zeta Gundam by integrating some elements of the Nemo, but it ended up being thrown out in favor of the Hyakushiki Kai instead, which has a weird kind of xenomorph head thing. Another attempt at making a Zeta Gundam was the Riggsy, which is kind of a weird mobile suit. Colored weird, too. This particular one is basically a Zeta Gundam with no transformation gimmick, no biosensor, and its flight systems are completely detachable. So effectively, you would use it to get to your destination, and then just detach it. Personally, I'm more of a fan of the Rigsy Custom. You see, this particular suit is from the Char's Counterattack Mobile Suit Variations book, and is effectively a Zeta Gundam that looks like it hit the gym a bit more often. If there's a halfway point between the Zeta Gundam and the new Gundam, this is it. It is an incredibly potent mobile suit that has a mega beam cannon that fires out of the beam sabers when it's in flight mode, 2 beam sabers, has beam guns on its hip armor, a mega beam cannon that fires in flight mode, a grenade launcher on each arm, and 2 3-tube missile launchers on top of a beam assault rifle that looks like an AK-47. Plus it has grenades in its shield, and on top of that, also has a biosensor in it, meaning it might have actually been capable of some of the same things that the Zeta Gundam was capable of. Now, this thing was originally designed to be used by Amuro Ray, but it got shelved once the new Gundam got finished. This is one of the biggest mobile suit what-ifs that exist out there, because would things be different if Amuro, instead of using the new Gundam, was using effectively a Zeta on steroids? Hard to tell. Also, a little fun fact, this is the mobile suit that I use the most whenever I play Gundam Battle Operation 2, and I'm pretty good with it. Now, we wouldn't really see a truly mass-produced Zeta Gundam until the time of Unicorn Gundam, 9 years after the original Zeta was first deployed. That's where we got the RGZ-95 Riesel. Now allow me to rattle off the weaponry this thing uses, because it's going to sound familiar. It uses a beam rifle with a mounted beam bayonet, 2 Vulcan guns, beam sabers, grenade launchers, and a beam gun in the shield. Yeah, this thing is a mass production Zeta Gundam, and it's a pretty awesome mobile suit in general. It's effectively more of a mass production version of the Zeta 2, really, which didn't include a biosensor system and was a merger of the Zeta Gundam and the Methus, making its transformation gimmick super simple and easy to do in combat. In fact, I'll let Shirt Dude put the 2 transformations side by side to give you an idea of how easy it is to get in and out of Wave Rider mode with the Riesel compared to the Zeta. What made this suit even better was how versatile it was in regards to its armament. This is a mobile suit that could be equipped with 1 or 2 mega beam launchers that can function as great support weapons or even as sniper rifles. It could also be equipped with massive missile payloads as well. Each of these loadouts is called a defensor unit and had different applications on the battlefield. But that's the interesting thing about mobile suit development, though. When you look at all these mobile suits from the Zeta all the way up to the Riesel, you have to keep in mind that it took them 9 years to make a mass production suit that could keep up with the original Zeta. But it was a goal worth pursuing for domination on the battlefield. The Federation oftentimes would prefer that their suits be swift and powerful, and you're going to have a hard time matching the Zeta in that regard, so you might as well keep chasing that dream. Effectively, what the Federation military wanted was a mobile suit that was going to have versatility, speed, and customization to make sure that, in just about any sort of situation, they could have a substantial advantage over their enemies. Given how much damage one mobile suit did during the Gryps War, it's completely understandable as to why they would look at something like the Zeta Gundam and say, "More of that, please." Funnily enough, after the Unicorn conflict, the Federation stopped pursuing the Zeta Gundam in regards to mobile suit development. In fact, they pretty much didn't develop much of anything for years. The Jagan was still in constant deployment during the Mofty conflict and the Crossbone Vanguard conflict of Gundam F91. But as it stands, though, the Zeta Gundam will always be a legendary mobile suit with several variations on the original construction, plus several mobile suits developed from the pursuit of its incredible power. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Some people said that they really like these short little mobile suit highlights, so I figured we touched on some Zeta offshoots during the Mark II video. I wanted to touch on more of them here, so I did. Also, don't forget that my comic books and my new novella, Everything Went Black, are now available on Amazon for purchase. And on top of that, please don't forget to back Black Rhapsody Book 2, a book that I edited and my protege Serena wrote. It is a twisted version of the magical girl genre with a lot of heart, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Link in the description. Anyway, don't forget to also become a member so we can do the lore-based podcast once we get to 75 total. My name is Big Micah C, your favorite vanilla gorilla, and I will see you guys next time.